Well, let's go back to the little shop, the Russell's Old Corner Shop at the corner of King and Latrobe Streets. It's a beautiful little building. It is falling into disrepair and has been for some time now. The owners have done everything they can to try and protect it, but it's just too much for them. In fact, one of the original tenants in the building, or occupiers, and she was actually born in the building, is ageing now, and money is needed for her care. A spokesperson for the family, Owen Dixon, joins me now. Hello, Owen. How are you?
Hi, Dita. Good.
Thanks for talking to me. So, Owen,
No, that's okay. Yep.
So the house, Lola Russell, what relation is she to you?
Oh, so Lola's my auntie.
Okay.
So my dad's brother George was her husband, and George and Lola are my uncle and auntie.
Okay.
Unfortunately, George passed away, just under 3 years ago.
So
yes.
Lola was born in the house, wasn't she? And she lived there for 95 years. And I understand after George's passing, she's in care now, isn't she?
She is, and look, unfortunately, she's lost her mobility more recently, so she's in a very high level care. But look, part of her, she loves the shop and the residents. It's been a big part of her life, obviously. And, out of respect for that, we've been doing everything we can to both preserve it and, potentially find, we've been dealing with the National Trust. We've been working with the National Trust for about 3 or 4 years, who have sort of helped us to try and coordinate both potential future use and funding, and part of that process is we've been dealing with the City of Melbourne, who have previously, been they've been of great support for my uncle and aunt over the years, understanding the historical nature of the building. We've probably been the oldest building in the CBD. And it's the only surviving building pre-Gold Rush. So it's built with quite soft sandstone, and that's part of the issue. So a lot of the buildings didn't survive. But
sorry to interrupt you. I know the council have helped out with the scaffolding and engineering reports and stuff like that, but there was some talk that they may buy it, which would be wonderful because then it would be in public hands and could be used. Who knows? Perhaps they could return the lower part to a cafe or something like that. Where does that stand at the moment? Are the council still planning to buy it?
Look, we just on Friday So where that stood, so for the last 2 years we've been in negotiations with them about this possibility, and they needed to take it to a general meeting to see whether or not the councillors and things would agree to the purchase of the building. That was going to actually happen last sort of March, April. In February the proposal was to take it to the next council meeting. Look, unfortunately, that little building's been caught up in the pandemic, so obviously it was put on hold because, the council's priorities changed and everything. So we've really been, they've expressed interest with different members of staff and things along the way. Again, with the pandemic, there has been a few changes of staff and things within the organisation.
So let's assume then that the council isn't able to go through with, obviously there was a hope at some stage they could buy it. Have you...
Just as stated, the council have formally said they aren't in a position to proceed with the purchase.
So who then can buy it? What will happen then?
Well, the problem we have as a family, so we've sort of been caught, I know the articles use the word limbo land, but we sort of have been caught in that way because all Lola's finances, and in fact we've even had to apply to the government for a pension loan scheme to help cover her living expenses and just the general maintenance of the building. So it's a sort of unsustainable situation for her to restore the building on her own.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And it's structurally very unsound, so it sort of almost has to be fully rebuilt to restore it. Meaning, it's got to be done from the bottom up. But
yeah, there's a lot of work in it. But Owen, I'm wondering, have you had any interest from any private buyers? Is because it looks as though that may be where you're heading with it.
Because we'd approached, as I say, the National Trust to see whether or not they had, they were assisting us looking at different options. And look, our priority was to give the council, Melbourne City, first option, and they have a sort of process for purchasing assets and things, because the issue is, as I say, Lola's, her only source of finance is the building, so it hasn't been an option to make her penniless, basically. That's irresponsible on our part. So we have to. The building either had to be rented out or sold, but it's not in a safe state to rent to anyone. So that's, because you can't put someone in there with its structural unsoundness.
Yeah, yeah.
So, no, look, we haven't managed to find the public buyer. We hoped we would. We've tried to look at public options, initially sort of leasing and things, but that would require a large beneficiary to actually assist with the restoration of the building. There was hope Lola would be able to spend some time in the store, but then her mobility and things got worse. So, if we did manage to restore it, she could come back and visit and spend, weekends and things.
Yeah, yeah.
But, she's not well enough for that to happen. But, look, she's doing well, which is great, but she just needs a high level of care.
Of course, yeah.
So, look, and we've been having trouble with the last 6 months. We're having constant break-ins and things are starting to either get damaged or stolen.
Yes, I'd heard that. Oh, and thank you so much for talking to me today, and I wish Lola all the very best. My hope is, and she's, she's getting on a bit, and I understand you've got a lot on your hands taking care of her. My hope is that somebody will come along. We need a white knight or a consortium or a group or somebody to come and buy this shop, and it does need a lot of care. It is crumbling, it is cracked, it is leaning, there is work to be done. But it's worth it because it's such an important part of the history of our city. Who will that be, though? It remains to be seen. Thank you so much to Owen Dixon, their family spokesperson, for talking to me.